is only war.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We just got back from Nova. We did a Grey Knight run at 6-2 throughout the entire weekend. We played 8 games, 3 games on Friday, 3 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. We're going to be doing I believe an 8-part video of Nova. We're going to go over each and every match in it. This will just be a standard start of the video, so you guys don't have to hear me say the same thing 8 single times or have me try and repeat the same thing 8 single times. So if you guys are new to the channel, appreciate you click on the video. There's going to be a lot of different armies to cover, and also mainly focusing on the Grey Knights. This is pre-nerf, so by the time you guys see this video, the Thursday update with Games Workshop probably already came out and the points and everything changed. So this was all buff, hopefully, for Grey Knights, and we had a great time in Nova. Everybody who came up to me and got dice, I appreciate you guys. You guys are all fucking awesome dirtbags. So we also sold a ton of stuff at Nova too, so you guys who came up and just bought some stickers and dice and some Calidus Assassins, I do also appreciate you guys. You just seeing people say, hey, your channel's awesome, or I like your videos, or I watch your content, like that's such a cool feeling. It makes me want to keep doing this and go out to major GTs so that way I can see people all over the country, if not the world. So we actually had a Team USA player at the very end at our last game, which I can't wait to talk about. Super fun game. So we're going to go over each and every game. We're going to take pictures, or we took pictures. We're going to go over each picture, tactics, what I did good, what I could have done better, what the opponent did good, what he could have done better, and kind of what we learned from it. Also, there's one special video that we're going to go over. It was against our Eldar player, which you guys, if you guys are in the Discord, you guys heard all about it. If you guys are at Nova, you've heard all about it. So we're going to be covering that as well. Real quick, just before we get into the video, we still have all of this. Wrong thing. So we still have all of these things up for sale. We sold a bunch of these at Nova. It's all of the stickers provided custom through one of our artists on Fiverr. We also have we have a Calidus Assassin as well as a Codiez and 2 colored dice left. So we have the silver dice and the green dice. They're dirtbag dice. They are basically limited edition now, just because they're almost sold out. But any of the stickers are $3, dice are $1 each, and the Calidus and Codiez are $15 each. So if you guys are interested, hit me up on Discord. We send them out all over the world, and also the terrain objectives, you get to pick any one of these stickers with the dirtbag logo underneath and any color you guys want. That's over on the link below. So like I said, we're gonna get into the video. Leave the comments below what you liked, what you didn't like, and also what you want to see more of. Go join the Discord, and if you guys are Patreon, you guys get to see all these videos free first on patreon.com. $1 a month gets you access, $5 a month if you want to go ham and support us a little bit more over at Dirtbags, $10 if you want to get in the competitive scene, and $25 if you want to be a grandmaster and have us play lists you guys want to see on the tabletop, or get any TTS games with us as well. So let's get in the video, and again, 1 through 8, we'll name it once we come back. Okay, gents, so this is the first video of the Nova 8 video content that you guys voted on doing. So we're going to be doing every single game of every single game that we had at Nova. Sorry, I'm 2 wines and 1 old-fashioned into this video. So for this, we played Chaos Space Marine. This is a guy that actually played at last Goonhammer, which we won with Death Guard, but I was playing with Death Guard, and this is the first game that we played again. I've seen him a couple different tournaments, but we came back and he's like, holy shit, I knew I was going against you because I saw Grey Knights. He didn't see the name, but he kind of just assumed that if Grey Knights are there, I was playing them. So it's Chaos Space Marine versus Grey Knights. Chaos Space Marine, they call it the vanilla list. So Anthony Vanilla, he's Art of War, so I think Team USA as well. So we met at Mythicos, like when I first started competitive play for 9th edition, and then when we went every year, we kept meeting up and talking and stuff like that. I think he's from the Philly area, but he made a list, and a lot of the Chaos Space Marine players were using his list in this event. I actually played 2 players, Chaos Space Marine players, with the same exact list. So again, Mike is kind of running similar lists. We tweak lists based off of your play style. So if you guys, again, want to get into the competitive scene, you can go join our competitive Dirtbags. But we base it off of your style, because then we can make a list based off of how you want to run it. This is just a really good player with his really good list, so you have to kind of have a lot of games with it, practice, stuff like that, to be really good at it. Just like Anthony Villa, he has 1,000 games under his belt, so it's very hard to compete with somebody who has that many games and knows exactly how his army runs on the back end. So with this list, we have 2 units of Flamers, Cypher, 2 4-man Oblit units, which is fucking insane, 10-man Terminator Brick with Abaddon. We have a Cultist unit, which I love Cultists. Now, I think he had Tzeentch with this one, but I'd always go Nurgle if I was Chaos Space Marines, just because Nurgle, if you ever were to get a sticky objective, it's so much more beneficial. And if you can't shoot at the Nurgle unit because you're 12 inches away, they're gonna turn that objective into a sticky objective during your turn. So Nurgle, Cultists all the way. If you have 2 units, then the second one can be Tzeentch if you really want to, but 100% I would go Nurgle every single time. Then 2 Forge Fiends, 1 Undivided, 1 Nurgle, because the reroll auto exploding on 5s with Nurgle is kind of really good, really hard to pass up. I don't think he had I think he had 3 units of Flamers. The other one had 2 units of Flamers and a Blue Scribe. I do like the Blue Scribes just because it's lone op, and I think it's 6 wounds. So it's a really cool model to have in your list. So that's a little top view of it. But this is the table setup. So this is Games Workshop table. This is the first matchup going into Nova. So I was super hesitant. I was like, all right, I gotta prove Grey Boys are some type of, good in this meta. Now their rules are crappy, but their strats are amazing. So that's how you really rate Grey Knights, is their strats are really, really good, but the rules are kind of shit. So you have to use your wit, I would say, to try and outplay your opponent. And 6 out of 8 of the players that I played throughout the weekend have not played into Grey Knights. So that was my advantage going into Nova, was playing a army that not a lot of people have reps into, or good reps into, or any reps at all into this army. So you can kind of tell them all the strats, all the tactics, all the gotchas, all the enhancements, everything you have in your army. And then throughout the game, they have to remember that. And until you play Grey Knights for the first time, you don't really remember any of those fucking things. So me, I've played Chaos every fucking weekend, so I kind of know exactly what they're doing, what they're aiming for, what their strats are, all that stuff. So I had a little bit of a benefit going into this game. So that's what I have to admit. But this is the setup. We played 9 inches from the center, Chilling Rain, and I think it was like hold 1, hold 2 for the mission. So first mission, he set up obviously Abby and the 10 Terminators in the center, so that way he can bully out the center. He had the Forge Fiend in the center, in the front, and then he had Cypher and the Cultist in the back to make that sticky. Everything else was basically in deep strike. He has the perfect amount of points to be 2 Oblits, 3 Flamers, and another Forge Fiend. That is a perfect 1,000-point reinforcement, which again for Chaos is really good, because you still have a really big bully unit in front, Forge Fiend, which could shoot something, and then Cultist in the back to do whatever. Cypher can't be off the board to do the Vect, so he has to start on the board. For us, this is the last video I did. The starting point for secondaries is super important. I should do a video on that, honestly. But the way you start your army, it has to be ready to go for secondaries. If you don't have your army ready to go for secondaries, you're going to miss out on the first turn to get secondaries, which could lose you the game between 2 to 5 points. So you want to make sure that you're setting up your army to do as many secondaries as possible on the first turn. If you're Grey Knights and you don't go first, you have a huge benefit. If you're Grey Knights and you do go first, you're at a huge disadvantage. So you want to make sure that you have your guys in position to do as many secondaries as possible. That's why I love Interceptors, because they move 12 inches, then get onto objectives to do cleanse, to do control the center, control 1, control more, like stuff like that. That's why Interceptors are so good. Just a 5-man unit, to come down, and if you put them in teleport store, they can come down, shoot something, and move onto an objective to try and steal that from an opponent. Let's say they have 2 or 3 models on the objective. You can then put 3 or 5 of your models on the objective and steal that objective from them. So Interceptors are very, very good. Strikes, I put them as far out as I possibly could, so that way they're 6 inches from the center. So if they have the scout move turn 1, they move on the center. If they don't have scout move turn 1, they move behind the cover. So that's another good representation of where to put your strikes turn 1. Everything else is in the back. So you have the Calidus that can move back and do signals. The Purify Crow is in the back because he's going to be teleported anyway. The Paladins are up front. If we don't have first, or if we do have first, you can move them, you know, auto advance 15 behind this building, so that way they don't get shot, but the next turn they could be in combat. You know, so like there's a lot of deployment that you can do with Grey Knights that they don't get shot turn 1, and you can be super aggressive if you do have turn 1. So he did have turn 1. So we moved everything back. All right, so he went first. And how it worked was he basically ran one model to tow in to the center objective. The Forge Fiend scooted up. Everything else kind of scooted up and did his, I think he got a 0 on turn 1. For us, we then moved up our strikes to take over the center objective and did cleanse and investigate signals. So we picked up our guys, we did investigate signal there, investigate signal there, investigate signal there. And we controlled cleanse for this bottom objective on this purifier unit. So one purifier unit hopped over and did cleanse, and then we cleansed the center objective with the strike squad. So we were able to cleanse center and over there for 5, and then we did investigate signals for 3 corners. Then his turn, he basically moved up, and I was able to teleport our strikes out of the center. So the strikes then got put back into reserves. He deep struck his flamers to steal the home objective because I didn't put anybody on it. So I definitely misread that. So he put one flamer on the other side of here. And these guys hot down here. My strikes were basically right there. So he was able to squeeze in a flamer unit in between my purifiers and my strikes because they were back there doing the investigate signal. And the other flamers came in 8 inches up top here. He kept his Forge Fiend walked on and shot at my 10-man Paladin brick that was down here. So they were in this corner doing investigate signals. So if you have to do 700-point investigate signals, you should do 700-point investigate signals. If you have nothing else to shoot at and you don't want to give them up turn 1, bring them in, do secondaries, force them to come in and have you proc sigil if they need to. So he brought his guy in, shot my Paladins, and his Oblitz dropped in here to also shoot my Paladins because within 24 inches, but I was able to sigil away from there and put them all the way down on the other side of here, outside of 24 inches of his Obliterators. So I basically went from one side of the quarter to the other side of the quarter, and I came up there just so that way I can steal this top objective from him. So being able to come in, get primary on that one, and then this guy lived down here, that gives me 15 turn 2 on primary, which was huge. So he was able to shoot the Forge Fiend into this unit, only kill 4 of them. The Oblitz then shot 2 guys into this unit and killed like 1 or 2 more, and I had 1 guy left over. So that was clutch having 1 guy live. He didn't pass battle shock test, was able to do that. Then he basically hops over on the other side of this wall and just kind of chills there for the rest of the game. So that was his turn 2. Forge Fiend doesn't really have a lot of shots over there. Abby kind of like stayed in the center to block the center, and Cultists are doing their job in the back. My turn 2, we deep strike our Drago unit because he's there to kill Forge Fiends and Obliterators. So him coming down, charging the Forge Fiend in the back, trying to consolidate into the Cultists to tie up the Cultists. My goal is to steal his backfield objective and just wipe out the back because he still has a Forge Fiend, but it's right next to Abby. So I don't want to put my Drago anywhere near Abby because he's my only chance to kill these Obliterators on the table. So Drago has to kill as much demons as he possibly can. So Drago then winds up kind of charging, consolidating, staying behind the cover so that way he doesn't get shot, and then eventually next turn moving up and finishing off this zone in the backfield. Cat Assassin, such a great secondary unit, keeps getting picked up, dropped down, picked up, dropped down. Now with the Obliterators only being 4 inches, they can't get on the other side of this wall to shoot her, so they'd have to either force a out of line of sight shooting, which I don't know if he wants to proc it now, but that would force him to use that just to kill 1 model. Then the other guy, the Interceptor, is on the other side of this wall 1 inch away, so he has to kind of charge through. And since their bases are so big, when they move up and charge, their whole base have to end on the other side of this wall. So that's adding an extra like 3 inches to their charge move. to get on the other side of the wall to successfully make the charge. So that's something to keep in note, where if you're 1 inch away from the wall, they have to completely get on the other side of the wall to successfully make their charge. Abby then slowly starts creeping towards my objective. The Forge Fiend is moving up. These Oblits dropped in the top and just fucking shot a shit ton of shots into my Paladin unit. I think they killed like 3 or 4 Paladins. We did spend 1 CP for that unit to try not to kill or have as many Paladins die as I wish. And then the Purifiers are kind of just holding the bottom objective, shooting these Flamers out of my deployment zone. So we shot 1 Flamer unit, killed it, and then charged the other unit and killed it. So then he deep struck the last Flamers in my zone to get behind enemy lines. So he's got Flamers, Oblits, Termi, Forge Fiend. The other Forge Fiend died, and Cypher and the Cultist back here. So the next turn, the Assassin then got picked back up because she didn't die. Brought down there. We have Exaction squads over there, and we have Exaction squad walking over here. He fell back just to kind of not be charged at from the Obliterator, so the Obliterator can't get onto this base right here because it's only speed 4. So he'd have to advance to get on the objective and shoot me, but I don't think he has an assault weapon. So this kind of protects him from 1 more turn in case I need him to be in all 4 quarters, or go back and do an action, or be behind enemy lines, whatever it may be. I wanted to keep that 1 model alive just so that we can do something at the end of the game. So these Oblits are chilling up here. We have our strikes, our 2-man strike squad that lived. Hop down here, make this sticky, because he also is 4 inches away from the objective, so he can't get on the objective unless he advances or charges. So the Oblits are super slow, so you have to make sure you deep strike them and get on where you want to go, or at least as close as possible to the objective as you can, so that way they can bully the objectives, just like Abaddon and his 10 Terminators are down here. So Drago's taking over this squad, or this objective up top. We have Exaction, Cultist, this guy, and our Purifiers are still holding down the fort. We got these guys up and down, the Paladins, in the back here to try and finish off these Flamers. We deep struck our other Assassin all the way in the corner to just get some shots off on the Flamers, to get some more, kills from the Flamers. We don't want to be as close as we can to Abaddon, because if he does have that advance and charge. So if he has that advance and charge, you want to stay at least like, 5, 9, or 5, 6, that's 11 plus 12, that's like 20. You want to stay at least like 18 to 21 inches away, so that way he doesn't even want to charge you from that far away. His Forge Fiend doesn't have a lot of shots. Almost the entire game he's just sitting in the center. Not a lot of angles with this Games Workshop deployment. And then this turn, we're basically taking over everything. This one, the Forge Fiends finally get onto the center. We dropped our Paladins within 3 inches of the Obliterators to steal that top objective. I think he picked that objective for... you have to pick 1 of the 3 objectives in No Man's Land. He picked that objective, so I had to bring my Paladins back on this objective to steal it to get 5 points. But when we did, he had literally... everybody lined up to shoot the Paladins. So I put 2 or 3 Paladins in this cover. The rest of them stole the objective. So we had everybody just -1 AP. Everybody's making Melta saves, Forge Fiend saves, Combi weapon saves, which we don't have any saves against the mortal wounds. But basically all the saves, and we wound up having 1 guy left, which is the Grand Master, with 5 wounds on him. And a strike squad. So we brought the strike squad back over. Then the Paladins landed, and that's how we were able to steal the top objective. Drago and the Exaction squad doing work on his home field objective. We have these guys finally move up and get line of sight on this little guy right here. And then we basically moved our guys as far back as we possibly could on a home field objective. So that way, again, Abby can't get to our backfield unless he makes a super far charge. So that's kind of what you want to do. If Abby is OPSEC 3, you want to make sure you have at least 4 guys on the objective. Because if he does happen to make it like an advance onto the objective, you at least have more guys on the objective than him, so you'll still control it. That's one little tactic. Like if he's OPSEC 2, you need 3 guys on. If he's OPSEC 1, you only need 2 guys on. So you want to make sure that you have that counted out before they make that advance roll. Then the Assassin's chilling right behind there. And that's kind of the game state. He ran away his Cultists. We didn't finish off the Cultists, which was sad. But we did kill Cypher. So this is the final score. Don't mind that this is chaos. I wrote it in the wrong spot. This is Grey Knights and this is chaos. So Grey Knights had a 6 and a 5 turn 1, which is a really good start, especially going second for Grey Knights. So if you go second, you have a better chance of getting secondaries. So he went first, he got a 0. Then he got 10 on primary, 5 on the secondary, 5 on primary, 3 on secondary, 5 on primary, 5 on primary. So his primary was only 25. Then he had 5 and 3, and then 5 and 0, and then 0 and 5. So I kept him to a 26 secondary and a 25 primary. So his total points was 61, 2R, 11, 20, 18, 13, 13. So we had 100 out of 61. So good first game. Again, going into an opponent that hasn't played Grey Knights, you're at a huge advantage when it comes to your strats, your enhancements, the sigil, what you're looking to do, your teleport assault, how fast you are, all that stuff. So you have a huge advantage going into it. It's almost like playing Gene Stealer Call for the first time. You have no idea what the fuck they do. So you're just going to play it, take your lumps, and then the next game you play against them, you know exactly who to kill and what to do. Every single time I played an opponent, every time we beat them, it's like, hey, now you know what we do. Next time you play me, you're going to destroy me, which is kind of how it happens, right? So now that they know how to beat Grey Knights, it's going to be a super tough game next time we play. So thank you for the game. It was super awesome. Again, second time we played each other, super chill guy. He had like 4 hours of sleep or something the day before. So I'm not going to say that that's a win because of the sleep deprivation, but still, it was super fun. So that was the first game of Nova. We will continue into the second game in the next video. So second out of 8 games videos coming up. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Leave in the comments below. Stay tuned for the next game, and we'll see you in another video soon.